Hello gamers, this is Sai and welcome back to Which Way Games. What would you do if you knew a cyber demon was on the other side of that door?
And with that being said, let's get on with the video.
When it comes to classic Nintendo games, gamers have been blessed with some truly great games, such as Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda and Kirby. Each of these were colourful and child friendly, although some games such as the Castlevania and Ghouls and Goblins tiptoed on the fine line between mature content and family friendly fun for Nintendo. Over time there will be more games that would steer themselves towards this nature of gaming, especially with gamers becoming desensitised to graphic content from the world of films and comics. Now Nintendo have always had a strict policy of allowing mature content on their consoles, and this couldn't be more true for the Nintendo 64. Eventually this policy of mature content became less restricted for the 64-bit console, especially with great games such as Killer Instinct 64, Hybrid Heaven and Conker's Bad Fur Day. These games each had something in common, which was blood and gore. However, there was one game that cranked up the blood and gore with a dash of violence.
This would be Doom 64, a bit of a hidden gem for the Nintendo 64, but unlike the other ports, was an entirely new game built from the ground up. But before I carry on, let's go back to where it all started.
With the original Doom and Doom 2 going down in gaming history as some of the most important and influential games ever made, they left a legacy that carried on for many years after their initial release. Gamers had various ports for other gaming systems that captured the same magic as the PC counterparts. And when Nintendo greenlit a version of Doom for the Nintendo 64, game developer Midway wanted to try something different with the Doom license. With id Software lending support, Midway got to work on creating a Doom game that would only be different from all the other ports, but also pay its respects to the 1993 classic.
Midway wanted to include every demon from Doom 1 and 2, but wanted to change its overall design.
Enemies went through a process of using pre-rendered sprites, but upgraded the design that fitted within the new gothic looking theme. Levels would be darker and more complex, and the enemies were beefed up to give the overall appearance a more demonic look. Now the Doom Bible that was used for the original classics had unused enemy types, such as the Nightmare Imp that almost appeared in the PlayStation port of Doom, but was ultimately dropped, so Midway felt that Doom 64 would be perfect for its debut. But enemies weren't the only thing that was salvaged from the Doom Bible. A demonic weapon known as the Laser made an appearance, but more on that later. And come mid-1997, Doom 64 was released for gamers to enjoy.
And like always, let's go back to the past to see how Doom 64 was advertised.
Doom 64 has been designed exclusively for the Nintendo 64, incorporating a new storyline that builds on existing Doom releases, ultra-smooth gameplay with precision control and performance, stunning 3D graphics, CD-quality music and sound effects, radically redesigned creatures, new and enhanced weapons and secrets, over 30 larger and more challenging levels than any previous gaming system could handle, all blended seamlessly to make Doom 64 the most incredible Doom ever. Doom 64 from Midway.
The story of Doom 64 takes place after the events of the originals. Now, no mortal should have survived the horrors of hell, yet Doom Guy experienced it all, but won't ever forget the evil he had to vanquish in order to survive. Knowing that the gateway to hell on Mars is still allowing demons to pour through, a quarantine policy was put into effect. In order to truly stop the demons of hell, Mars is bombarded with nuclear missiles, which would guarantee apocalyptic radiation levels where not even hellish demons could withstand. With the empty dark corridors now motionless but strewn with decaying corpses of Hell's creatures, a single entity had survived but extremely crippled by the radiation. Several years pass and the events of Mars have been classified until a decaying computer sends a final message to Earth. The entity that had survived developed rejuvenation abilities, and over the last few years has been systematically altering decaying flesh and bringing it back to its corrupted state, but with a few mutations. The demons of hell are back stronger than before and even more violent. finding himself being sent to Mars due to his experience, Doom Guy has no choice but to battle the forces of evil once again.
Gameplay has gamers controlling Doom Guy once again as he battles his way through 32 levels of horror.
Playing just like the originals, gamers will now have to deal with deadly ambushes and traps while fighting off the forces of hell. The whole look of Doom has been given a new coat of paint, which for some veteran fans of the series was fantastic. The all too familiar collecting of keys and weapons has returned, however some of these weapons now sport a more aggressive look, such as the chainsaw with its two blades, and the blood-soaked gloves that are used for punching demons' faces in. But one weapon that was new to the lineup, as I mentioned earlier, was the laser. This gun needed 3 artifacts that when combined, made it more powerful and even gave the BFG a run for its money.
Almost, but nothing can quite beat the power of the BFG.
Level design had been inspired by Doom and Doom 2, but Midway made sure that finishing a level wouldn't be that easy, especially when having certain enemies appear in the game much more earlier than gamers would anticipated.
The music really does add a sense of fear and urgency while playing.
Coming back to the story, with a pile of demon corpses at his feet, Doom Guy finally comes face to face with the entity that caused the horrors of hell to come back from beyond. This monstrosity wants nothing more than eat the beating heart of Doom Guy and consume his immortal soul. The pair begin to battle, both attacking each other with vicious intensity until the mother of all demons is dead. Covered in blood, some of it his own, Doom Guy makes the decision to stay in hell just in case any other demon dare raises its ugly head again.
When released, Doom 64 was met with positive reviews that praised the dark horror theme, as well as a nod to the original when it came to the gameplay.
The fast-paced gameplay made a return, with some critics even comparing it to Turok Dinosaur Hunter. However, Doom 64 was more intense and had gamers' pulses racing when being hunted down by demons.
Just imagine running through the secluded corridors knowing that demons are out for your very soul while you frantically search for the exit.
Nintendo 64 gamers were pleased to receive a Doom game that wasn't just a quick port of the classic from id Software. Sadly though, Doom 64 was overlooked by some, as the Doom series had appeared on almost every device capable of running the legendary classic, including the Game Boy Advance.
Eventually, the Doom series would go on a bit of a hiatus until Doom 3 was released.
Doom 3 was a reboot of sorts for the Doom series, but more story driven and survival horror based, and did its best to capture the magic of the originals. The release of Doom 3 allowed for a whole new legion of fans to be introduced to the series, as well as accommodating for veteran gamers. The combination of dark atmospheric music and gameplay would immerse gamers into the world of Doom 3 with some memorable results. Overall, Doom 64 is a great game to play and fits within the Doom franchise perfectly. The dark gothic themes and the fast-paced action will certainly keep gamers and Doom fans happy. And with the release of Doom Eternal weeks away at the time of this video, Doom 64 is going to be available for pre-orders. So if gamers want a whole new spin on the Doom franchise, then Doom 64 is a perfect game for this and would be a great addition to gamers' collections.
Anyway, come back next time when the world of Doom gets a massive reboot with more blood, more action and a lot more violence. Thank you so much for watching and see you next game.